This is a Defocus Media production.
Audio Jungle.
What's up, everyone? It's your favorite optometrist, Dr. Daryl Glover.
And I'm Dr. Jennifer Lyerly, resident optometry nerd.
And welcome to Defocus Media, optometry's #1 podcast, where we discuss the hottest topics, latest technology, eyewear, practice management, and more. So sit back, relax, and defocus.
Well, hello, everybody. We are here for my favorite topic, Daryl, a contact lens update, because there's a lot going on in the world of contact lenses. And I think if you're a practitioner right now, it probably feels pretty overwhelming balancing some of the new requirements that are being placed on us.
Yeah, absolutely, Jen. The game is it's crazy right now. We have these additional things that we have to do. Folks that have large practices are trying to figure out how to do it on the back end. And even your smaller boutique practices are still trying to figure it out as well. But today I'm so excited because we have guests that can really make our life a lot easier, but also really break down what's really going on right now in the eye care industry.
Also, we want to give a celebration because October is Women-Owned Business Month nationwide. And so we've got business owners, optometrists, working women making things happen. Please welcome to the show Dr. Jennifer Tabiza and Dr. Brianna Rhue. Again, I should add, because y'all have been on the show previously. So we love having repeat guests.
We have. Thanks for having us again.
Yeah, we're excited to be here.
So obviously, we mentioned you guys are practitioners, and we just wanted to check in with you because this has been a crazy year for optometrists around the country. What's life during COVID been like for you guys right now?
Jen?
Well, I've really started to realize how much technology has actually become useful. I feel like we're using it in our practices more than we ever used to before, with follow-up care, telemedicine, of course, doctor contact lens, but also many other services. We've really kind of utilized them in a new way that's helped us, not only stay afloat, but we're starting to have a really extremely busy year, which is really exciting. So, just kind of pivoting like everybody else, but kind of relying on some new things to help us keep going. And we're so grateful for it because if we didn't have these things, I'm not really sure how we would survive this year. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to.
Yeah, just like Jen, with everybody, we're all learning new things and adopting new technologies. And I think we saw this for our own businesses. So we, had to shut down our practices for 2 months and then had to come back, and we pivoted during that time. Dr. Contact Lens, I think it was the wake-up call didn't have to be this big for us to understand technology and bring it to our offices. But I think it was something that people needed, a push in this direction. Patients want to order from us. We just don't make it easy or convenient. And so COVID, I think, has opened our eyes to how to utilize technology and how to make things better for not only you, but your staff. I can't tell how many doctors came to us saying, I can't believe how many steps it takes my staff to do this one process. So when we all had to shut down our offices, and if you had to furlough staff or you didn't, you kind of got into the weeds of your practices to really look from the inside out what you could do and how we could benefit. And so it's been fun to see a lot of us come out on the other side of this. Our practices have never been busier. So 2020 can still be our year for 2 months. But it's been interesting.
Amen. I'm with you 100%. I'm still a firm believer that 2020 is the year of vision, and it's going to be a great year. And, I love that with COVID-19, we have really been able to pivot. We have been able to now accept what we call disruptive technology and really just take, the patient experience and the in-office experience with our own team members to the next level, because we are figuring out all the errors that we've been doing in the past, and now it's coming to light. So it's just going to make the overall doctor-patient experience tremendously more easier, comfortable, more effective, more efficient. Just at the end of the day, it's just going to be better all around.
Well, you mentioned, I think during especially those 2 months of offices being closed, but even now as offices are reopened and we're seeing patients, a lot of our patients are not comfortable coming in for an exam if it's something that's they absolutely have to do, and they're looking for alternative ways, like just until they feel a little bit safer leaving the house. And during that time, if you didn't have an online presence where patients could order contact lenses from your office, you were definitely losing those sales because patients needed their contact lenses. And even now, people aren't, voluntarily coming into your office to like come place an order in person. They need easier systems to make this happening. And when you look at some of the numbers that 1-800's reported during this time, so 1-800 contact lenses, their business was up 100% in the spring of 2020 over that same time period of the year prior. They recently announced that a larger private equity group has purchased them, and the deal's worth $3 billion at minimum, according to the reports. Their online eye exam, Express Exam, I think is what it's called, usage of that is up 200% over this time last year. So patients
and to Jen,
nearly,
throw some numbers at you where this gets really fun. You know why 1-800 was sold for $3 billion? Is because we're literally giving our patients away. We're giving this data away. So when we hear time and time again, my capture rate's amazing, my annual supply rate is off the chart. Let me just throw some quick numbers at you. So if you have 1,000 contact lens patients in your practice, your capture rate's 80%. That means great, 800
you're doing
patients
fabulous, right? By today's standard. Yeah.
But 200 patients walked out with their script. So take that one step further. Of the 800 that ordered something from you, if your annual supply rate's 50%, industry standard's 25, that means 400 patients ordered a year supply. So kudos to you. But 400 need a tickle reminder. So of 1,000 patients, you let 60% of your patients go to an online store. And that's with a capture rate of 80% and an annual supply rate of 50%. None of us are hitting those numbers right now. That's why 1-800 sold for so much money.
It makes sense. And another interesting stat is that 200% increase with the online refractions, Jen. I mean, that tells you something. That tells you that the consumer actually wants a piece of that. So the real question is, what are we going to do in our practices? Are we going to implement this into our practice in some kind of way, or are we just going to let it sit on the side and let these outside forces come in and just snatch up all this opportunity? Because at the end of the day, it is the opportunity, and we have to think like our patients. We have to play on the same playground that they're playing on. So I mean, like, what are we going to do when we see statistics like this?
When it comes to online exams, and I obviously, like, we can all weigh in on this. My personal opinion is the technology, as I've seen it, does not exist to ethically and morally and accurately give a contact lens exam.
What, Jen? You can't see my eye? You can't see my eye? Is it good? Am I in the right place, Jen? It's right here. Can you see it?
Okay, so that, to me, that one's out. And then you look at, and this is not just like my personal opinion, we have some stats, right, about this. There's a recent study published out of the Marshall B. Ketchum School of Optometry. 52% of routine asymptomatic contact lens patients coming in for their annual eye exams had an ocular health issue found during their exam. Over half of them had a problem. So we can't just be renewing prescriptions willy-nilly. Though I will say, during the time of COVID, I have had, patient situations where, like, oh, I'm immune compromised. I really feel unsafe coming in right now. I want to come in the spring. My exams due in the fall. They're existing patients of mine with no prior health issues, and they're in a daily disposable contact lens. I'm willing to, like, work with you to get you what you need, because I understand it's unsafe. But we've got to take these cases on, like, example by example and make sure that we have documented history of, like, healthy patients with healthy lens wear.
It's been a lot of fun. Absolutely. So, and I was, to also put this in perspective, during COVID, I was able to, in our CRM that we've built. So again, when we're talking about data, we're giving all this data to companies. It's your data to go after, and we're not mining it. So in my own practice and with Dr. Contact Lens, you can see where everybody is in their life cycle. I have 1,200 patients that need an appointment. What we were able to do during COVID, I had another 600 that needed a contact lens or a renewal. And so our staff, we were generating between $3,000 to $5,000 a day just calling, hey, do you need more lenses? Hey, do you need more lenses? So that we don't have these lists is insane. Well, we built it because we needed it. And so when we're looking at technology, I want docs to understand not only are your reps important to the industry and these companies to keep innovating and pushing us forward, but they can help us teach us something, right? So when a rep comes to you, yeah, we all have these crazy ROI calculators. We have our own, right? So what you're looking at, don't look at how much the technology is costing you. Look at how much it's costing you if you don't do it. So just by Dr. Contact Lens, yeah, we have a monthly subscription service, but it can go, you can increase your business by $200,000. Is that not worth it to you to spend a monthly fee to go after that revenue? So we've got to start looking at technology in that way because we have to get more efficient. And Jen loves to talk about the staff efficiencies because she was doing a lot of this in her own practice.
Yeah, Bree and I actually have totally different practices. She kind of represents that big practice, 4 doctors. She sees, 100 patients a day between her practice. I have a boutique practice. It's a little different. It's in Los Angeles. I've got 2.5 staff. And so we really rely on technology to do just the administrative work for us. So we can be present, for the people coming in and want to talk to us and want to get on with us. And investing in technology is not that people are replaceable, they're not, but it definitely costs less than an extra staff member. So if you're kind of in between needing an extra hand, look to where you can implement a little more tech is always what I tell everyone doing the demos, because it can bring in more revenue and you don't have to, deal with employee issues. They just got to do the work for you. So it's kind of nice. So yeah, it really does make a difference.
Well, we've had you ladies on the show in the past, but not everyone may be familiar with Dr. Contact Lens is all about. So if you don't mind just giving a brief overview of just the company, the technology that you have available for other eye care professionals out there, and then also some of the changes that have taken place since last time we saw you, because I think maybe the payment structure has changed. A lot has changed since last time we saw you. So if you don't mind just telling us about some of the latest and greatest innovations that you have with your company, but also a brief overview of what it's all about.
What it's all about. Well, the first thing we always like to point out is even just our name. And so, us as optometrists, we're so used to subscribing to products that are made by big companies who they understand us, but perhaps it's really hard for them to know the ins and outs of what it takes to run an optometry practice. And so we literally named it Dr. Contact Lens to keep that name in there to show the people who want to join us that will always be built by doctors for doctors. So it's such an important message for us to really help people understand, because often people say, oh, what's the difference between you and this? And the thing is, you think about just how something is designed. If you are the one doing it every day, you can at least take those in mind and build a platform that really helps meet the needs of an optometry practice. So, what Dr. Contact Lens essentially does is it is a system you order contacts from in office. It skips about 15 steps for your staff. And so we track the steps. It takes 28 for your staff. We've made it about 1 to 2. And so a 15-minute process can be scaled down to about 15 seconds. So the first thing we want to do is kind of get rid of this staff inefficiency of the 300 hours a year that most practices are spending just ordering contact lenses. And so beyond that, the system will auto-remind patients. It has a lot of exciting features you can use, like email marketing to patients who still haven't ordered, tickle reminders, eye exam reminders. Basically, you have a full-blown marketing tool to keep attracting your contact lens customers to you, to keep them in your office, to keep them off other websites, going to online eye exams, things like that. And the benefit, we always knew that if we built something that benefited the practice, we had to also give an extra benefit to the patients, because if the patients didn't feel it was any better than 1-800 contacts, why would they use it? And so the whole way through when we were building the platform, I would always say to Bree, no, it has to be one click for the patient. Otherwise, they're not going to use it. And it's true, right? That's why we use Amazon. We just go whoop and we're done. And so we wanted to mimic that because that's the only advantage at this point you can give your patients is that like
Right.
seamless, easy. It's on my phone, click a button, insurance uploads, data uploads, everything the patient would want is there. And so price point now doesn't become as important to the patient. You're offering insurance, you're offering ease of use. You don't have to be the most competitive in price anymore. You can now offer fair pricing because you're offering amazing technology that really, again, you can go back to your own shopping habits. When something is really easy and seamless, you're not gonna spend 3 hours price shopping. You're just like, it's a good price. I'm just gonna do it. So we wanted to just bring that to optometrists. Bree and I scavenged ODs on Facebook for years and looked at every want we heard out there. And we really just took all those opinions, took our own, and built this platform that is constantly evolving. As you said, we've changed a lot, and it will continue to do so in a way that will be positively benefiting optometry practices. And, I don't know if we want to talk about an hour later, but, the FTC piece, we've added a feature for that to really help still practices thrive in this environment and kind of show doctors that there is a lot of revenue in contacts. We always hear there's no money in contacts. And, it's like any small margin item, it's all about volume. So our product really just helps you do that to keep your practice going, thriving, and honestly impress your patients. That's really part of what we wanted to do. So that is sort of where we're at. And then pricing, I don't know if you want us to talk about pricing. We're happy to do that.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about the price points. You change how the structure is of how everything works. But one thing that really resonated with me last time, I can't remember which one of you ladies had mentioned this, but you had mentioned one of your parents, I think your father.
It was me.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
He was kind of like the tester of it. And if he could get it, then anyone could get it. And when you said it, I was thinking about my mom. Like, if she could get it, anyone could get it because she is not tech savvy at all. I remember the first time she sent a text message and my mind was blown. That always comes to mind that you guys have really streamlined the process. And that's something that you really try to make easier for the office, but also the patient as well. So that's a huge thing. And I am, I can account for you ladies being all over social media, looking to see what type of comments people are saying about anything contact lens related. That way you can take it and implement it into your system that you have. Because I always see you ladies commenting on every comment with anything contact lens related for sure.
Yeah, we're there. You say the contacts, go see Jen or Bree.
It's the education piece too, because I think we've all been brainwashed again, like Jen said, that there's no money in contacts. There's so much money in contacts. That's why, again, 1-800, just look at their 22 times multiplier that they just got, but we're making them bigger. So that's where, Jen and I, to build the system, we wanted to build it for our own offices and figured out what we built and then wanted to share it with the community. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the changes since last time, because I know that's a big piece. I mean, if someone is interested in potentially, utilizing your services, they want to get the breakdown of what their investment's going to be with this system that you ladies have created. Yeah.
So we're fully integrated with a couple of EMRs. Even if you do not have an EMR that we're synced with, it still is a really beneficial platform. 50% of our offices are integrated and 50% are not. A way to think about the non-integrated version is when you're going directly to your distributor or your manufacturer to order, it's a dead end. Again, you're giving all this data away with no trigger reminders, no appointment requests. And our appointment requests, we all have leave and solution reach and demand force. Our appointments are more targeted marketing. So it's, showing the patient, hey, you can't order your lenses anymore. It's time to come in. So we have a whole marketing platform as well built into the software. So when you're, again, ordering directly from your manufacturer or your distributor, all of that goes out the window. So some changes that have happened there is obviously our pricing structure has changed a little bit. So we listened and we learned. So it's a flat fee for unlimited ordering. You have a way to place orders in the office now, so you can run your own credit card processor. If it runs through ours, then there obviously is a credit card processing fee. That's the only fee. And then there's an onboarding fee. So we train your staff everything that we've learned, and we literally just give you the tools. And I want to really drive this point home. You know, all of us are busy private practices. Our to-do lists are a million miles long. Dr. Contact Lens should be at the top of your to-do list. It is that easy to integrate and to train your staff. So we can have your staff trained in under 45 minutes with a full live staff training. We also have really short 10-minute or 1-minute videos. So we have about 10 of them where you can literally sit down, you're trained in 10 minutes and you're placing your first order. So it's not implementation is where a lot of doctors are scared. Like, I know if I went to my staff tomorrow and was like, I'm bringing in another thing, my staff might walk out the door, right? So when you're bringing in the staff, I cannot tell you, don't be scared of them, because you are in charge of the business and you have to move this in the direction. So the offices that get it, that listen to us, that really go down this roadmap that we've painted and been successful with, we're literally just giving you the roadmap. And those are the most successful practices. The ones that we see don't like it, it's the staff trying to get them to change. So always involve your staff in decisions. I think that's very important. And they have to be part of that decision making. So if you can make their lives 28 steps easier, why would they not do it? And if you really paint this vision for the future, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, how much technology has been sped up, guys, I want to be here still in 5 years. So we need to pivot. And this is why. So obviously, Simon Sinek, always lead with why. That's how we do every training as well, is really teach your staff the core values of Dr. Contact Lens. So it's here to make patients order from you and to come back and see you for their eye health. That's the important piece.
That's fantastic. And, you know, I really would like to pivot to the new FTC Contact Lens Rule, because this is something that Jen had mentioned at the top of the show, and it's really changed the game in eye care. And you're talking about adding another piece to the practice, as you had mentioned, Bree, where it can make your team members pull their hair out and look just like me. You know, we don't want any of that to take place. So I'd love to know, you know, what type of technology do you have incorporated in your software or your technology to just really make life easier for the team members? Because I'm huge in trying to make my team members' life a lot easier, more efficient, and not overwhelming them, because I'm a firm believer that the more they can talk to the patient and have that interaction and build some type of relationship, the better the practice will be, and that patient will be more loyal to the practice. So anything we can do to expedite the process, streamline the process, and do away with all that busy work, I'm a big fan of. So I'd love to learn more about what you ladies have done with this new rule that's out.
So this regulation, and I'll let Jen kind of explain it, but this regulation's been coming at us, you guys, for about 2 or 3 years. And so as insiders, I'm the immediate past president of the Broward County Optometric Association. I knew that this legislation was coming. So I knew it was really important that this was already there. So we've been sending digital scripts since the beginning of the platform. So I'll let Jen explain how it works. But we didn't have to change anything in our practice. So, you know, before we built it as a tool when a patient asks us for a copy of their prescription before they even sit down in the exam chair, and you like literally want to jam the 4-opter in their face. It was that defense mode that you go into, right? So did you not walk by the 10 people that I employ? Did you not walk by this beautiful office that I have? Yeah, like your contact lens prescription means something to me too. And so what we do is we flipped the script. We wanted to be on the offense. And this was part of us building Dr. Contact Lens, is saying, perfect, we're going to send you a HIPAA compliant link. It's got the details of your prescription right there. Hey, $10 off, free shipping. There's your prescription. So this FTC rule, and I'll let Jen explain how it works, has been really fun.
And it keeps Brianna out of jail because she's not shopping for opters in her patient space. So it's good for me too. Yeah, so I get so excited when people ask me for their prescription now, truly. I mean, probably because I'm the co-founder's product, but really people are like, can I have a prescription? I'm like, sure. So really the way it presents itself is this. Bree and I play really different roles at the company. I'm the psychology based of how people want to purchase. what would get someone, excited to buy from you. And I feel like that's so important. It's not something intuitive necessarily to everyone. I'm a big shopper myself and I love online shopping. So I've always kind of seen and noticed what it is about, certain things that get you to buy. And besides ease of use, what we did was we basically are now presenting the patient with an option. And so on one hand, you click a button and you're inviting them to the contact lens portal where they can view and download their script. So basically the patient is now faced with a decision, which is, here's your prescription. You can download it. You can go through the 12 steps of ordering from another site, waiting for verification, putting data entry, going through that rigmarole. Or on this other side, you've got checkout with insurance, data, everything. You push one button and you get your order. Really now, does it even make sense to go the other route? We've never been able to present this in such a way where it's like, would you like the harder way or the easier way? That's really all we're doing. And it's worked beautifully. I have taken extra note to the patients who never order from me. And in the last few years they have been. And it's really phenomenal because, you tend to get to know those patients that come and see you and like, have my prescription, bye. I don't know what it is. It stands out with me over the years. I know who they are. And I asked some of them. I'm like, oh, you go to Costco this year. You used our app. Thank you so much. I always thank them. I'm like, thank you so much. It really helps our small business. But what made you use it? They're like, oh, well, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty easy. There's really nothing much to what they say. It's just always like, it was right there. And you're out of their face. So you're not selling them. They don't feel like they feel in control. They're behind their phone. People love to order from the phone. And that's really all there is to it, guys. And so we've created and made sure we've really, again, invested in understanding not only the law, but making sure we're as compliant as humanly possible. And we're still even taking it a few steps further to do that. But it's time-stamped. It's a digital script. It has a trail, which is great. I know a lot of doctors are very on edge and very worried about this compliancy because of the big potential fine. So you can even take a step further than what we do, have them also sign a piece of paper, but this will also have your back. It shows you what you've been doing and how you're handling giving out prescriptions. So, in my opinion, it's the only way we do it at my office. I won't print them out. So.
And I take this too. So we like to call it the exit through the gift shop strategy, right? So you get on a ride at Space Mountain, you exit through the gift shop and you may purchase something. That's where the script lives. So it gets exciting when I see docs that are really, well, how are you implementing this? What are you doing? Well, we can make it easy and don't give up the fight. Like I see so many ODs that are just like throwing in the towel because of this new regulation. That's exactly what they want us to do, you guys. So do not do that. And now we've given you a way to fight back and actually win. So they're hoping that we screw up the sale. They're hoping that that patient gets a copy of their prescription. Well, they did. And now it's digital, downloadable, printable, but it's in your store. So you're price competitive, click, order. Contacts can arrive as early as the next day. And another interesting statistic is 10% of our orders, patients have actually paid for next day or 2-day shipping. I don't know about you guys, but if I try to sell a patient, oh, you want your lenses tomorrow? It's $21.99. They look at me like I have 10 heads. But when they're controlling the order, it is insane. Like literally the cart is less than what the shipping is.
The phone is the best salesperson. There's something about a phone.
Power. Yeah, like you have the power to control the situation. Unlike when you're in the office, you're like, I'm just a number, even though make them feel like they're, on top of the world, but still in the back of your head, your mind, you're thinking like, whatever. But once you're there buying things, you have that urge. I mean, like even myself, I'll look online and I might buy some new jeans and I'm like, man, I really want to wear these on the weekend. I might need to go ahead and get them now. I can't wait 7 days. So, you just want to go ahead and purchase it right away. But since you two are experts, I would love for you to just break down just the rule a little bit more in detail. I mean, I know Jen had put on our little blurb, there was a big fine, and I saw that number and I had I almost fell out the chair. I couldn't believe how big that was. But if you ladies don't mind breaking it down, and would love to just hear more about that in detail.
Sure. Let me just pull it up so I can see. So there's a couple different parts to the law or to this FTC ruling. So there's 4 ways that you can be compliant. So the patient, they can request a copy and you can have them sign a separate confirmation statement. Then you have to retain that copy. Then if the request that the patient signs the retained copy, that the exam contains a statement confirming that they received it, or you can provide the patients with a digital copy of their prescription, retain evidence that it was sent, received, or made accessible, downloadable, or printable. So they've put some verbiage in here to help themselves as well. There's also the verifiable consent, and that's where you can take it a step further. With some of our EMRs have implemented this to have them sign something. What I would highly recommend is don't really bring that much attention to it, right? They don't know what they're signing. They don't know about the regulation. So I'm not a big fan of holding patients hostage with contact lens prescriptions that I write or their prescription. You're going to come to me and you're going to purchase to me because you like us and that we do a good job, that we earned your trust, right? When we play this game of these other types of lenses that are holding patients hostage, there's 2 doctors around me that do it. They're my biggest referral source. Patients do not like that. They don't want to be held hostage. And so again, we're flipping that script of just making it easy, accessible, downloadable, and printable, and it's all time-stamped, it's all tracked. So I can't imagine if they come for us for these fines, okay, we'll print out 100 of these that you signed, that you had patients sign. Now you got to do that. Ours is literally an email. These are all the patients that got it. These are all the patients that downloaded it. We are taking this a step further, as Jen has said, to make this even, to like wrap this up a little bit more. But they didn't think we were ready for the regulation. We are, guys. You just have to be able to compete. So don't throw on the towel, like pick yourselves up. Optometry is super a positive profession. I hate the doom and gloom. We've had a lot of gifts given to us, and this is just another one.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. Number 1, female led. Number 2, optometrists. So you have our interest. And number 3, you're just making it easier for us. I mean, streamlining the process. I mean, this is fantastic work, ladies. Y'all always are just killing the game and making it so much easier for us as eye care professionals.
So we talked about the big fine, but just in case anyone's listening and they haven't implemented a policy, the per the AOA Contact Lens Rule Compliance Toolkit, the fine for not complying on this rule of the patient signing that they've received their prescription copy is $42,530 per violation. So if you get audited and you need to provide 100 examples and you can't find 100 of them, times that by 100 because it's per person.
That is crazy. And like,
yes.
I've been reading online, and I know you can't believe everything that you see on the forums. But from my understanding, they're saying that the online vendors, they're not even getting hit with any of these things with filling prescriptions or any of that jazz. Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow. That sucks.
It's very one-sided. But again, as optometrists, I don't know who is a member of their PAC, but it comes back to money. So if each of us donated to our PACs, we could have nipped this in the bud. So I'm a huge proponent of, obviously, the AOA always has our back in fighting and moving us forward, but we have to join forces here. Don't look at it as these individual practices. Right. We're a community and we need to act like one. And that's what we're actually developing and cultivating with Dr. Contact Lens. So all of our docs are excited to come on board. And there's some things in the works to even build more of that community. We see it all day. It's just, session after session of this is wrong and I had this bad day and I got this bad review. Well, flip it. Like, don't focus on the bad because the bad is going to come. So we need more positivity and we need more energy like that. And so that's what we're cultivating here.
The other thing, besides us not being active, one of the other things that was cited as a reason why the FTC wanted to regulate us as optometrists a little bit more was optometrists weren't responding to those passive verification requests in very high numbers. And if you had ever received, even like if you don't respond in a certain number of hours, it gets approved. And I can remember being around doctors where they're like, oh, that one's right. So like, you don't have to respond to it because they're going to fill it. So like you just one less thing for staff to have to deal with, right? Because it's correct. So it'll get approved. Well, every time you did that, that was cited as you not complying with the regulations. So they had all these counts of doctors not following the existing rule because we weren't filling in and approving the accurate ones because we were like, oh, they're going to get auto approved. So like we created this mess by that kind of take on it as well, which is just something to like look in the mirror.
Yeah.
But we can also get ourselves out of it.
Right.
Yeah. And
right.
And it's hard to see, you know, the bigger scheme of what's happening behind the scenes. These companies have plans that we're not aware of. You know, they were ready to use that against us. It's not like we knew, you know. So
who knew that was going to be used against you? Yes.
I think there is a quote that is, I think is the previous CEO of 1-800-Contacts, where he calls it his patients. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it's funny because they know this. I don't think optometrists know this, that really we have the upper hand, right? That's why they're spending these millions of dollars to try to get them from you. They're right in front of you and they like you. And this is a one-on-one human to human experience. They don't get that at 1-800-Contacts. They have to spend billions of dollars and come up with schemes, you know, fines from the FTC, different things to try to steal our patients. But really, truly, if you flip the way you look at it, the reason why they're trying so hard is because you were the first one who could potentially get that sale. So if you blow it, you know, you blew it, but don't blow it, because really they know that there's no reason why they shouldn't purchase from you. They have insurance. You're right there. You know, there are people that care about supporting their practices. It's just, you know, part of it's education. It's how you present it. You know, at my practice, we say, thank you so much for your business. Thank you for supporting our practice. Just using terminology to remind them that we're here because you are helping us be here. You know, and so it's interesting that optometrists don't know kind of what position they're truly in, which is actually the good position. It doesn't feel like that at times, but in my opinion, it is. It's all about just understanding business. It's the hard part for us as doctors. We did not go to business school. We didn't study marketing. We don't understand these things. So we're all just trying to educate ourselves. That's why we're here tonight. And there is a lot we can do. So.
Well, I'm just curious to know, how does it feel to be ahead of the game? To like really just be killing the game. I mean, like, you ladies, you're ahead of this curve, you know what I mean? Like, it has to be a great feeling inside, you know what I mean? Like, you own the business, you're changing the eye care industry. Folks are loving the product or the service that you have out there. Like I said, I'm on the forums, I see the different comments, and every time someone mentions what should you do, your name pops up. So you're clearly killing the game. How does it feel? I mean, like, come on, like, toot your own horn. I mean, this is the time. I mean, like, you guys are doing some fantastic stuff.
It's exciting. We worked really, really hard to get here. It's become such a personal journey too for both Jen and I. We always kind of wanted to run a business together, and this has presented itself. I live in Fort Lauderdale. She lives in LA. Like, technology is really obviously bringing us together. And changing little things. So like in my own office, we ran our numbers from April 2019 to April 2020. We grew our soft contact lens revenue by $150,000. And I was out of the office for 4 months doing Dr. Contact Lens stuff.
Wow.
So it's fun to see, like, my staff, when we launch when we launch a new feature, we try it out in our offices before we launch it out to the Dr. Contact Lens people. But what we're doing is my staff now, like, if it doesn't work and they're like this was early days, right? And they're like, well, why isn't Dr. Contact Lens working? I'm not going through the 28 steps. You go through the 28 steps. So they would like fight with me and bicker if it wasn't working. So it was fun to see that banter start to happen in the office. And we changed some really incredible things. Our direct ship to patient ratio is over 95%. And that was pre-COVID. So I didn't want those in my office. I think we're lying to ourselves that we want patients to come back and buy their glasses or look at sunglasses. Guys, your patients are walking in at 4:59 and now you're paying overtime and you think that they're going to ask the patient if they want a sunglass? Like, what? So it's fun to change this script a little bit. So it's exciting to be on here. But thanks for having us.
Yeah. How about yourself, Jen? How are you feeling?
Honestly, I'm just thrilled. This was a phone call to Brianna. Just so I'm like honored that my idea is useful. I truly, honestly, I just wanted something. I mean, we all graduated around the same time. So we kind of graduated in a time where there wasn't quite enough tech for our generation. Like we graduated, we started practicing and we were like, paper and pencil? What's happening here? So yeah, that's why I called Brie. I was like, you made me buy a practice and this is how it's run? I
did make her buy a practice.
So, I couldn't believe it. And I just want to help. I really just want to help. It's not about killing the game or trying to be the top. I really love optometry. I grew up, like making collages of eyeballs as a child. So to me, anything that will keep the hope, for our industry is so important. That's really all I care about. It's not about, trying to like crush business or anything. That's a side effect of passion, right? Like you have some success, but Bree and I certainly don't do it for the dollars and cents. We really, in very different ways. Yeah, Bree is very much on the legislative side, and she's always like, she's always helping optometry in some way or another. And mine is more just how can we utilize technology to advance ourselves. And I'm honored that anyone thinks our idea is something like it's great. And I love working now. I feel like we have this community and it's so cool because they all come to Brianna and they're like, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? And I feel like a parent like, sure, let me see what we can do. And to me, it's just fun. It's just great. I'm really happy to be a part of it. So that's it for us. Yeah. That's why we're here.
Well, thank you guys.
What about
so
you
much.
guys? I think you guys need to toot your own horns a little bit too, guys.
Well, with Jen and I guess we've been doing this for a while now, and like we celebrate our wins, that's for sure. I mean, it's been tough not being able to at least have dinner with Jen and her husband and my wife. We like to try to make that happen, just simply because you can't just work. You got to celebrate your wins, right?
Yeah.
And I know for me, I'm just honored and blessed to be able to have a partner that can hold me down when I just need to step away, and I know she feels the same way. So it's one of those relationships and partnerships, and we want to continue doing this forever. Well, at least I do.
It's fun. I'm glad you guys are doing this.
But Jen is amazing, man. Like I said, I'm blessed. We love what we do every day, and you touched on something earlier about the industry and just some of those forums not being as happy. That was one of the main reasons why Jen wanted to jump into really creating this platform, because when we came out of school, not everyone had a positive outlook on optometry. And she told me and made me promise to her that, when we're doing these podcasts, if it's not fun anymore, we're going to end this business. And ever since then, we've been rocking and rolling. And that's why we toot our horns quite a bit, because we have fun every single time.
That's great. That's awesome.
Well, I will say, I appreciate you guys coming on, because earlier this week, when we were cutting out little strips of paper to have people start signing, I guess this was last week, my office manager was like, what happens if we're not in compliance? Like what can happen to us? And I was like, you know what? I don't know. I'm sure it's bad, but I need to find that out. And so in research, I found out about the $42,000 fine. I was like, we need to get this word out there. So everything that we are talking about this evening and learning on the podcast is to help, you guys and your personal practices, because your staff's going to ask you questions that you don't know the answers to. We're all learning this on the fly. So I just hope we can get the information to you faster. But I mean, and Defocus doing the research and bringing the discussion straight to you. We did a poll, by the way, yesterday, and only 68% of the 500 people that responded to our poll have implemented any office changes about the new FTC Contact Lens Rule, and it went into effect like 2 weeks ago now. So
Yeah.
a lot of people need to get more on top of this. So hopefully this drives you to do it and makes you feel a little less negative and doom and gloom about it. Because like you said, we can implement the strategies in a way that makes our office maybe even more successful.
Yeah.
That's 100% true.
Agreed.
All right. Well, thanks for y'all's time tonight. And make sure you check out, if you want to make it easy on yourselves and be in compliance without having to worry or think about it, drcontactlens.com is going to sort you out.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, colleagues, and it's a wrap. Thank you dearly for hanging out with the Defocus Media team. We hope truly something resonated with you. And if it did, be sure to give us 5 stars and make sure you follow us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, you named it. And our handle is at Defocus Media on all platforms. And until next time, be sure to keep it 2020, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.